Welcome. This is week 2 of Sarvangasana and Yesudian's 21-week yoga program that I've taken out of this book. If you're joining us for the first time on week 2, I would recommend that you go back and look at week 1 and do these all in order, because I'm not going to really give any details about why I'm doing this or what this is all about. You can go and learn that from week 1 or to read up on it at least on the week 1 posting. We're just going to get right into it, starting with full yoga breathing in cross-legged pose. If you hear noises around, I've tried to baffle the camera. You may still hear some noises. I hope you hear me more clearly than anything else. But if you hear noises like trucks and that, well, that's just part of where I live, and not much I can do about that. Breathe 7 times fully into the belly, ribs, and upper part of the chest. And either finish it off or come to breathing normally while I describe what the next breathing exercise is. Kapalabhati. We're going to start with an inhale, just a normal inhale, and then a very rapid exhale. You constrict your stomach muscles and you force the air out of your nose. Keep your mouth closed so that it all comes out of your nose. You need to clear your nose for any reason. This would be a good time to do that. And we'll only do that 3 times. The inhale, to do that, you just completely relax your stomach, relax your diaphragm. Let the air push its way in rather than sucking it in. So you're not forcefully inhaling, you're very gently inhaling. But we start with just a normal, regular inhale. We're only going to do that 3 times. It's very exhausting to do it. You can do it for a full minute. So if you like, at the end or later on today, you can come back to that. Do be careful though, if you get lightheaded, stop. It's a very good exercise for the lungs. It's a very good exercise to clear out the passages and for clearing your thoughts, but it can also be overdone. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but that's one of the many trucks that drives by here. Sorry about that. The next one is Bastrika, which is bellows breathing. Sort of the same idea, except it's rapid in and out. So you're going to use your stomach muscles to suck the air and use the stomach muscles to blast the air back out. Again, through the nostrils. Again, 3 times, but we're going to do this in 3 groups of 3. Take a normal inhale. All pranayama, all breathing exercises start on the exhale. So take a normal inhale. So you just saw that I did that 3 times, very quickly. I'm just going to rest for a moment, take some normal breaths. Wait for the trucks to go by. And then I'm going to do the second round, start with a normal inhale. So 3 times, bellows breathing. Take a resting pause, again with some normal inhales and exhales. And then inhale and do it again 3 times. And that's it. That's Bastrika breathing. The next one is sukh purvak. You've probably all seen this one. It calms the nervous system. It calms the parasympathetic nerves, relaxes you. So you take your right hand, index finger goes on the point in the middle of your forehead, and your thumb, and then your pinky and your ring finger are alternately used to close off the nostrils. And again, this is going to start with the exhale. We're going to do 3 rounds, which is going to be exhale through the left nostril, inhale through the left, exhale through the right, inhale through the right. And then we're going to repeat that sequence 3 times. So finger on the forehead, get the other fingers ready. Take a normal inhale. Close off the right nostril. Exhale. Close off both nostrils and hold your breath. Inhale through the left. Actually, I'm going to stop because I forgot to explain. We're also going to be doing this on the count. There's going to be a count of 8 for the exhale, count of 16 for the hold, count of 8 for the inhale. Sorry about that. So normal inhale, close off the right nostril, exhale on 8. Inhale on 8. Hold for 16. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close off. Exhale left. Inhale left. Hold. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close. Exhale left. And that was that. So 3 complete cycles of sukh purvak. Next is paschimottanasana. That's a forward bend. This is actually quite an advanced pose. It seems to be a very basic one because it's one of the ones that we learned first. But to bend forward with legs straight for many people is very difficult. So we're going to start with our knees bent gently. Obviously, if you're totally flexible and can lie down, grab your toes, go ahead. Otherwise, knees are bent, and try to get the bottom of your belly to contact your thighs. If that means your knees are very bent, it means your knees are very bent. What we want is to stretch the hamstrings, and to do that we have to lay the belly onto the thighs. Try to keep your upper torso nice and straight. Lift your collarbones, and then as things open up, you You can lift your heels and slowly straighten your legs. You would like to feel stretch only in the hamstrings, not in the back of the knees, and very little in the lower back. There might be some in the lower back just because this is pretty intense. Stretching, your hamstrings are very strong. Engage your core though, that will keep your back safe. Don't just sort of think because I'm folded in half I can relax my core. No, I have to keep it strong. So my knees are nowhere near straight. They're quite an open angle, but I can feel a nice stretch in my hamstrings, and that's all I want. Release for a moment, lean back, roll things around, check in, make sure everything is feeling okay. Check in especially with your lower back. I'm going to do the same thing. Lay your belly on your thighs. If you can grab your feet, great. If not, you're grabbing your shins, or you're bending your knees a little bit more. If you feel open enough to do so, try to start with a little bit more of an extension. So you start with a little bit more of a stretch. Again, engage your core. Inhale, come up. Lean back, roll your legs. Boy, I hope you can hear me over the trucks. I hope my little baffled system that I set up around the camera is working. I'll find out when I go to test it. So the next and last paschimottanasana we're going to do in the traditional way, which is, it means stretch of the west, which is the back side of the body, because you would traditionally be doing this facing the sun, which in fact we almost are doing. We're going to start the same way. Grab onto your feet, lay your belly on your thighs, and then to stretch our back, we've got to now round it and bring our face down. So you're still engaging your core, you're still getting a stretch in the hamstrings, but now I'm getting a stretch all the way down from the top of my head to the end of my spine, because I'm rounding my back. Notice my legs are not straight, they don't need to be. And then inhale, come up, lean back, and relax. Now the next pose, Sandy out here, is, well, there are advanced versions and less advanced versions. So I'm going to show the final version, supta-vajrasana. So this is a difficult pose. I can't do the final version either, really. So you're on your knees, your heels are separated enough that your hips could settle down in between them, so that there's space in between your ankles for your hips to fit. And then you lean back. Now how far you lean back depends on how flexible the front of your thighs are. So you can come all the way back, you can flop down onto the ground, which I was able to do someday, and may be able to do someday again. But if that is beyond you, you can always do this one leg at a time. So one leg is bent, the other leg is straight, and then you lean back and test how well things are going. To get out of it, roll over so there's no tension left on the knee, extend the leg, and switch sides. So I'm going to do this once, like this, one leg at a time, and then I'm going to switch into the double leg version and show you that. And then release. So if you've already been doing the double leg version, then come out of it, take a moment's break. Otherwise, keep on doing the single leg version, or if you like, you can now move over to the double leg version, so both knees are bent. You lean back. I like to grab onto my feet, bring my elbows to the ground. My knees might pop up, that's okay. I lean back, I engage my core, and I just sort of hang out here. If things are comfortable, you can let your head drop. Come out from the double leg version, you just sort of push your way up, then release the tension. Now when I went down in the double leg version, my knees popped up because things were tight, but then as I opened up and I relaxed into it, I could push my knees back down to the ground. Your ankles are having trouble with this, stick with the one-legged version. If your ankles are having trouble in the one-legged version, take a cloth, take a towel, something, roll it up and stick it underneath the end of your shin. That then prevents your ankle from getting bent quite so much, or from getting straightened actually. And over time, try to reduce the thickness of that bolster that you put underneath your ankle so that you can start to open up the front of your shin. Do this now for the third time. Slowly push your way back up. Release the tension in your knees. And pause for a moment before coming to standing, because the next thing that we do is trikonasana, or triangle pose. Again, a lot of people think triangle pose, the point is to get down to the ground. It's not. The point is to have good form, and good form means your shoulders are stacked one higher than the other one. So I'm going to do it on my left side first. The left foot is out in front. The right foot is back. The heels are in line. My hips are facing out to the side. My left hip tips under, and I turn to the side. My left hand comes down to my shin. Right hand up towards, in my case, the sky. And I open up as wide as I can. While I'm here, I can then slide my hand down my shin, just so long as my shoulder doesn't look down towards the ground. I want to stay open, facing the side. That's the critical part of this pose, not how low you go. Engage the thigh muscle of the left leg to lift the kneecap a little bit, keep the knees safe. Exhale, look down, soften the left knee, come up. And we're just going to alternate sides, step forward with the right, step back with the left. Tuck the right hip under, lift up the right kneecap, hand on the shin, turn to the side, open up. And then as things loosen and relax, you can slide your hand down your shin. Release, look down, come up. And we do this a total of 3 times either side. Step back with the right. Open up to the side, pair the hips, and come down to triangle. Down, inhale, come up. Right side, I'm doing this for about 5 to 6 breaths. Not terribly slow breaths, but they're not awfully fast either. Do it for as long as you like. You can always push pause and just do it and then join later on. Exhale, look down, come up. Now the last time, left side. If I'm counting that right. We do it 4 times, it's not a problem either, but I think it's 3. Then up, slide down. Exhale, look down, soften your knee, come up. We do the right side. Exhale, look down. Inhale, come up. The thing about doing poses on both sides is that you get to learn how different your sides are. And as you'll notice, as you get older, those differences increase. It's because we tend to do things always the same way, and then those ways become comfortable, so then we repeat doing things always the same way. One of the things that we get from yoga is putting our bodies into different poses, things that it's not used to, things that maybe are not completely comfortable, and that's when we suddenly notice how imbalanced our sides are. On my left side, it's a lot easier to get down lower, my right side is not. I can always ask myself why that is, but while I'm doing my yoga practice, I can focus on that, and I can try to get my sides balanced again. Next pose is Sarvangasana. So back in the 50s, when this book was written, shoulder stand, Sarvangasana was a very popular pose. It's one of the prime poses of the Hatha Yoga system, headstand, shoulder stand. Over the years, evidence has shown it's not only very effective in its goal, but it's also kind of risky. I don't do any poses, or at least I don't hold for any length of time any pose where my heart is higher than my head, for the simple reason that I have high intraocular pressure, and therefore I'm prone to develop glaucoma. So if you're in the same boat, then don't do any poses, or I would not recommend doing any poses where your heart is held above your head for any length of time. I will demonstrate what shoulder stand is, but I will demonstrate a modified form of shoulder stand. I would no longer even recommend the full form of shoulder stand, because that requires a very sharp angle to the neck. And when you're in that sharp angle, even a slight rotation of the head can be damaging to parts of your body you really don't want to damage. So the shoulder stand that I would recommend that you do if you want to do shoulder stand is a very lazy one, where the angle of my neck is not a right angle, but it is an open angle. Just lift my hips, tip my feet over my head, and call it done. Like that. My head does. So when I'm like that, here I'll do it one sideways to demonstrate. So my head doesn't even have to come down to the ground. So there's no pressure on my neck here. And without pressure on my neck, even if I were to put my head on the ground, without pressure on my neck, there's no threat of damage to the vertebrae, to the nerves, or to the blood vessels that run through the neck. Those are pretty important things. So, because I don't do that sort of pose, I'm just going to have my legs up in the air, and you can do whichever you like. Either shoulder stand, I would recommend the modified version, that I just demonstrated, or you can do this legs up the wall without a wall version, which doesn't necessarily show the best side of my body, but such is life. And release. So, like last week, the last two poses are meditation. I would recommend switching your legs when you do the meditation from the normal way that you sit. Try to get comfortable then in a version of cross-legged pose that is not your typical. If cross-legged pose for a length of time is not comfortable, then feel free to sit on a chair or do a walking meditation. Meditation is whatever you make of it. The book says 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes of corpse pose. Again, rather than watching me in silence or hearing trucks for 5 minutes, and then watching me lie down for 5 minutes and not say anything and just hearing the trucks. we're just going to stop the tape here, and you can go do that on your own. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoy these, and we'll see you next week. Namaste.